Hey, we need to talk, Lena said, her voice calm but sharp, like a blade sliding across glass. I froze mid-step, the coffee cup I was holding trembling in my hand. Talk about what? I asked, forcing a smile that felt hollow even to me. She folded her arms, eyes distant. Us. I think we're done. I blinked. Done? Wait, what? Why? My voice cracked, betraying the panic I tried to mask. Lena's lips curved into a faint, almost cruel smile. It's just, you're too small, too slow. I can't keep waiting for someone who can't keep up with me. My stomach dropped. Small? Slow? Lena, we've been together 5 years. 5 years. We've been through everything. Her eyes hardened. And I've realized that's not enough for me anymore. I deserve more than what you can give. I took a step closer, desperation rising. Lena, come on. You know I've been working on my plans. You know I've been saving, hustling. I'm doing everything I can. She shook her head. It's not about effort. It's about results. Victor, he can give me what I want. My heart skipped, and I finally understood. Victor Hale, the wealthy investor everyone at the office whispered about. The man who had casually asked her out to dinner last week. You mean him? I asked, trying to sound calm, but my throat burned. Yes. He's different, she said, tilting her chin. He can give me security, status, things you never will. I laughed bitterly, more to keep from crying than anything else. So that's it? 5 years, gone because he has a bank account bigger than mine? It's not just that, she said, voice softening slightly. It's that I realized I deserve more than waiting. I can't settle. I felt like the floor had vanished beneath me. Settle? Lena, I've loved you every single day. I've carried you through your dreams, I've sacrificed my own time for you, She interrupted. I know, and I appreciate it, but it's not enough. I'm sorry. I dropped my hands to my sides, numb. Sorry? I whispered. Is that all? After everything, that's your apology? At that moment, Mark appeared beside me, his brow furrowed, fists clenched. Hey, Lena. You can't just. I can, she cut him off sharply. This is between me and him. Step back. Mark turned to me, eyes full of anger. Dude. I can't believe she's doing this to you. I shook my head, feeling humiliation wash over me like ice water. I can't either, I muttered. I don't even know who I am anymore. Lena glanced at us both, indifferent. You'll be fine. You always manage to survive. But I need more than survival. I need this. She gestured vaguely toward the world she was leaving me behind for. I wanted to scream, to beg, to throw myself at her feet, but no sound came. My chest tightened with betrayal, and every word she had ever said to me felt like a lie now. I thought we were building something, I finally croaked. Together. She shook her head, a bitter smile. We were building something. You just weren't building it fast enough. And then she turned, walking away without looking back. Every step she took echoed in my chest like a hammer. Mark put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? He asked, but I couldn't answer. Not yet. My heart felt hollow, my mind spinning. I sank onto the bench where we had once sat laughing, holding hands, planning the future. Everything, 5 years, all my effort, all my love, smashed into a million tiny shards. I whispered into the empty air, more to myself than anyone else, she's gone. And it's all my fault. The world outside continued moving, but I didn't. My life, the one I thought was steady and predictable, had shattered in one single moment. And I realized, with a cold clarity, that nothing would ever feel the same again. I woke up to silence, the kind that makes every thought echo like thunder. Lena was gone. The apartment smelled like her perfume still, mocking me. I groaned, flopped back on the bed, and muttered, how could she just leave like that? Mark's text buzzed on my phone. You okay, man? I stared at the screen for a long time before replying, no. Not okay. She chose him. He called immediately. Dude, you sound like death. I feel like it, I admitted. I can't stop thinking about her. About everything we built. You're human, man. But don't let this destroy you. You're better than that. I laughed bitterly. Better? Mark, she said I was too small. Too slow. I gave her 5 years of my life, and she wants someone with cash. Mark was silent for a moment. Money doesn't make someone love you. She doesn't deserve what you're feeling. I know, but it hurts anyway. My chest ached. I thought we were a team. You were. And you are. But sometimes people aren't ready for the real thing, Mark said. Listen, you can't fix this for her. You can only fix yourself. I hung up, staring at the ceiling. Fix myself. But how? How do you fix a heart someone tore out while smiling? Later, I saw a post from Lena on social media. A picture of her in a designer dress, glass of champagne in hand, with Victor standing behind her. The caption, finally living the life I deserve. I wanted to smash my phone. Instead, I whispered to myself, so this is it. This is what I wasn't. Mark came over that evening. He plopped onto the couch, tossing me a bag of chips. You've been moping all day. You need food, and maybe a plan. I shook my head. I don't want to plan anything. I just want. I don't know, her to regret it? Mark snorted. Regret doesn't come from you whining in your apartment. It comes from seeing you succeed. Seeing you grow. That's how karma works. I can't even think about success right now, I said, staring at the floor. I feel hollow. Every dream I had feels worthless. Don't say that. You have things she'll never have, Mark said, his eyes fierce. Your integrity. Your patience. Your heart. Don't trade those for someone who only wanted a paycheck of emotions. I clenched my fists. But it hurts so much. How can she move on like this, like I was nothing? Mark leaned closer. Because she's shallow, man. She's not seeing you. She's seeing what she wants. You're bigger than her vision. I laughed, bitter and dry. Bigger? Feels like I'm smaller than dirt. No way, Mark said firmly. You'll see. One day, she'll cry when she realizes what she left behind. But right now, you focus on you. Don't let her shadow eat you alive. I leaned back, exhaustion washing over me. I don't know if I can. Yes, you can. And you will, Mark said, clapping me on the shoulder. We're not weak, man. We fight. We survive. I closed my eyes, thinking of Lena's cold smile, Victor's smug face, the life I had thought I shared with her. My chest tightened. Survive, yeah. That's all I can do for now. Later, alone, I stared at my reflection in the dark window. I've been blind, I whispered. Blind to what she really cared about. Blind to how easily someone can replace love with status. And yet, beneath the pain, a small fire sparked. I didn't know what I would do, or how long it would take. But I knew one thing, I would never let anyone make me feel small again. Mark had said survive. But I felt something more stirring beneath the hollow ache. Something that whispered, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. I clenched my fists, staring into the darkness outside. Lena had her champagne, her designer dresses, her rich new life. And I had something she would never expect. A plan. And maybe, just maybe, a chance to show her exactly who I really was. I sat at my desk, staring at the pile of paperwork I had been avoiding for days. Mark leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching me like he always did when I was lost in my thoughts. You've been staring at that for hours. What's going on in that head of yours? He asked. I rubbed my temples. It's her. Lena. Every time I think about her, I feel smaller. I can't stop replaying everything. Mark sighed. You're letting her control you. Again. Haven't you learned? I know, I said quietly. I know, but she made me feel invisible. And everyone around her? They're cheering for her. Victor, it's like they've erased me from the world. Mark shook his head. Dude, you're better than that. Way better. You've been holding back something big. Why haven't you told her? Or anyone? I hesitated, feeling the weight of the secret pressing down. Because I didn't want her to see me for my money. I wanted her to see me. Not some rich kid hiding behind his dad's legacy. Mark raised an eyebrow. Wait. Rich kid? What are you talking about? I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. My dad, he left me half of his property firm when he passed. I've been running it under the radar, keeping it small, quiet, secret. Lena never knew. Mark whistled low. You're kidding. No, I said, voice low but firm. All this time, I've been pretending to struggle, working small jobs, saving pennies, just so I could avoid the gold diggers, avoid people like Lena looking at me like I was nothing. And she still left me. Mark rubbed his chin. So she dumped you, for status. And she didn't even know you had it all along. I clenched my fists. Exactly. She didn't know, and that makes it worse. I could have been everything she wanted, but she assumed I couldn't. She assumed wrong. Mark's eyes gleamed. Man, that's huge. That's power. You could turn this around so fast, she wouldn't know what hit her. I don't want to turn it around for revenge, I said, shaking my head. I don't want to stoop to that. But I can't let her think she was right about me. I can't let her think I'm small and slow. Mark grinned. Not revenge, huh? I like that. Just show her who you are now. Let her see the truth without you lifting a finger. Make her realize her mistake. I thought about Lena, her smug smile, her designer clothes, Victor's arm around her. Yeah. I like that. Quiet. Effective. No drama. Just truth. Mark clapped me on the shoulder. Exactly. You've got the upper hand. She just doesn't know it yet. I leaned back, imagining it. The thought made my chest tighten, not from anger, but from excitement. I've been underestimated my whole life, I muttered. And she's the one who underestimated me most. Mark chuckled. That's the thing about people like her, they always think they're the smartest, the quickest, the cleverest. And then life humbles them. I just need a plan, I said, standing. I need to step into my role fully. Let everyone see what I've been hiding. Quietly, efficiently. No big announcements. Just presence. Yeah, Mark said, nodding. And Lena? She'll see. She'll see exactly what she gave up. I walked to the window, staring at the city lights. My secret had been a shield, a way to protect myself from people who cared more about money than me. Lena had pierced that shield with arrogance and ignorance. I can't believe she didn't see it, I whispered to myself. After all these years, she didn't see me at all. Mark leaned beside me. And now she will. She won't know what hit her. A fire lit inside me, quiet but unstoppable. I clenched my fists. She'll find out. Soon enough. And when she does, it won't be about revenge. It'll just be the truth showing up at her doorstep. Mark smiled, nodding. That's my guy. Let's get to work. I turned back to my desk, heart pounding with renewed energy. For the first time in days, I felt something I hadn't felt since she left: control. Power. And maybe, just maybe, hope. Lena had no idea who she'd really left behind. I walked into the auction hall, my heart hammering in my chest. The place smelled like polished wood and ambition. I kept my head low, eyes scanning the crowd, and that's when I saw her. Lena. Dressed in a gold evening gown, hair perfectly styled, laughing at something Victor whispered in her ear. My stomach twisted. Wow, Mark muttered beside me. She looks untouchable. Untouchable? I scoffed, but my voice trembled. She left me for him, Mark. Untouchable doesn't even begin to cover it. Mark gave me a pointed look. Don't let her get under your skin. You're here to watch, learn, and wait. I nodded, forcing my attention on the auctioneer, but my eyes kept drifting back to them. Victor Hale, tall and smug, with that perfect smile that made everyone in the room think he owned the world. And Lena, clinging to it like a lifeline. She looks happy, I muttered. Looks can lie, Mark said. Don't forget that. Watch. I listened to their conversation from a distance. Lena laughed at every joke, leaning into Victor, praising him for his business moves, his taste, his charm. Every word made my chest tighten, every smile he earned made my hands clench. I don't get it, I whispered. She used to tell me about the little things that mattered. Now it's all money. Status. Victor. People change, Mark said quietly. Or they revealed themselves. Lena was always chasing something bigger than you, even if she didn't realize it. I felt my fists curl. I gave her everything I had, Mark. Everything. She doesn't see it that way, he said gently. But that's okay. You're about to change the game. The auctioneer called out the next property, a luxury mansion on the riverfront. Lena's eyes lit up. Victor raised his hand to bid. I watched as he signed the papers, confident, smirking. Look at him, I muttered. He thinks he owns her world. He has no idea. Mark nodded. Exactly. That confidence? Hollow. Wait until he realizes what he's dealing with. I stayed quiet, heart racing, and listened. Victor was bragging to Lena about the investment, explaining the mortgage, the renovations, the neighborhood. She was soaking it in, nodding like it was all a dream come true. "I can't believe she's falling for this," I whispered, my teeth gritted. "She doesn't even see the cracks." Mark elbowed me gently. Don't ruin this moment with emotion. Learn. Watch. Let the truth do its work later." I took a deep breath, focusing on every detail. The way Victor's confidence wavered slightly when the auctioneer asked about his credit. The subtle twitch of his hand when he signed the contract. I noticed everything. Lena leaned against him, laughing, but I saw her glance at the mansion floor plans and then back at him, silently assessing. She thought she was choosing the right crown. "I wish she could see it," I murmured. "She's choosing a man who's about to crumble." Mark smirked. "She'll see, buddy. She just doesn't know it yet. And when she does, well, it's going to sting." I kept my expression neutral, hiding every flicker of satisfaction. I didn't confront her. I didn't smile. I simply watched. The fire inside me was quiet but relentless. I imagined the moment she would realize Victor wasn't everything he claimed. "I can feel it," I said softly. "Her whole world, it's about to shift. And I'm going to be the one who watches it happen." Mark clapped me lightly on the shoulder. "Patient. Wait for the right moment. Let it all unfold naturally." I exhaled slowly, focusing on my breathing. For the first time, I felt powerful. Not because I had money, not because I had a plan. But because I knew the truth, and she didn't. Victor thought he had it all. Lena thought she made the right choice. And I had the only advantage that mattered, the one thing money couldn't buy. I knew what I was capable of now. And I was ready. I walked into the private viewing room of the mansion, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. Lena and Victor were already there, standing near the marble staircase, holding glasses of champagne. "This place is incredible," Lena said, her eyes sparkling. "I can't believe he did this for me." Victor puffed out his chest. "Only the best for you, Lena. You deserve it." I stepped forward, clearing my throat. "Actually, about that mansion." They both turned to me. Lena froze, her smile faltering. Victor's eyes narrowed. "And you are?" he asked, his voice smooth but cautious. "I'm the owner," I said calmly. "Victor signed the contract, yes. But the sale went through my firm. My signature is on every document." Lena blinked. "Wait, what?" Victor's confident smirk faltered. "Owner? I don't understand." I pulled the papers from my briefcase, letting them flutter onto the table. "You didn't check the fine print, Victor. Everything was legally processed under my company. You're not the owner. You're a client." Lena's hand flew to her mouth. You own it?" "Yes," I said, my voice steady. "All of it. And I always have." Victor's face paled. But I paid." "You signed for it, sure," I interrupted, "but the legal ownership never left my company. You just financed a property that technically belongs to me." Lena staggered back, looking like she might collapse. I don't understand. I thought. You thought you were choosing someone better than me," I said softly, meeting her eyes. "But you didn't even know who I really was." She opened her mouth, but no words came. Tears glimmered in her eyes as shock overtook her pride. Mark appeared behind me, smirking. Looks like someone's champagne just went flat. Victor's jaw tightened. This is impossible. I signed everything. I'm the buyer. I shook my head. You're the buyer of a house that belongs to me. You should read the contract more carefully next time. Lena's knees buckled slightly, and she grabbed Victor's arm for support. Her mascara was starting to streak. I can't believe it. I thought I made the right choice. You didn't, I said gently. You left me thinking I wasn't enough, chasing status and wealth you didn't even understand. And now, well, now you see who really owns it. Victor sputtered. You tricked me. I didn't trick anyone, I said, keeping my tone calm, almost indifferent. I just let the facts speak for themselves. You assumed I was powerless, and that's your mistake. You believed in appearances over reality. Lena's tears spilled freely now. I was wrong. I didn't know. You never did, I said softly. You only saw what you wanted to see. And now you're facing the truth. She tried to approach me, hands trembling. Please. I didn't mean. I stepped back, raising a hand. Stop. This isn't about forgiveness. This is about clarity. You left me because you thought I wasn't enough. You're finally seeing who I really am. Victor's face twisted with anger and disbelief. You'll regret this. This isn't over. I smiled faintly. It is over, Victor. For you, it's just starting. Lena sank onto the staircase, hiding her face in her hands. I thought I wanted everything. I thought I had it all. And now, her voice broke. I looked at her, at the woman who once claimed she loved me, now reduced to trembling tears. Now you see the cost of choices made for the wrong reasons. Mark nudged me. Ready to leave him in the dust? I nodded, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. Ready. I turned toward the door, one last glance at Lena. I hope you remember this moment, Lena. The moment you realized I was everything you didn't see. She looked up at me, eyes red, lips trembling. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The truth had already spoken. As we walked out, Mark beside me, I felt something I hadn't felt since she left, power, control, and a strange peace. The fire inside me burned steadily now, quiet but unyielding. Lena had chased status and lost the one thing she couldn't buy, me. I didn't have to wait long. Victor's empire began to crack almost immediately. I watched from the sidelines, careful not to show satisfaction too soon. Victor Hale is under audit, Mark said, scrolling through his tablet. Looks like his deals are collapsing. Taxes unpaid, contracts missing signatures. I shook my head, barely believing it. He thought he could buy everything. Status, property, Lena, and now? He can't even keep his empire standing. Mark smirked. And Lena? She's finally realizing what she got herself into. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena. Can we talk? Please. I messed up. I didn't know. I didn't realize. I stared at it, heart pounding. Her words were desperate, raw, pleading. But my chest ached in a different way, not from longing, but from recognition of the pain she had caused me. I typed back slowly, meet me at my office. 5 minutes. Victor appeared at the same time, face pale, forced smile plastered on. Look, we can sort this out. I'll cover anything. Just, please, don't. I held up a hand. Victor, stop. You signed the contracts, but legally, the mansion is mine. You've made your choices. Now you live with them. Lena arrived, eyes red, makeup smudged. I'm so sorry, she said. Her voice cracked. I didn't know. I didn't see. I didn't think. You didn't think, I repeated softly. And that's the problem, Lena. You left me for someone who couldn't even manage his own life, and you ignored the person who always tried to build a life with you. She took a shaky breath. I see that now. I made a mistake. I never should have left you. I looked at her, the girl I had loved for 5 years, and felt something shift inside me. Anger? Sadness? Disappointment? All of it, tangled together. You think an apology changes anything? You walked away when I was giving you my life. Her tears fell freely. I know. I see it now. Victor, he's failing. I see it all. And I cut her off. And you want to come running back? No, she whispered. I needed you to know I was wrong. That I see it now. That I regret it. I exhaled, slowly, letting the tension leave my shoulders. Regret doesn't fix things, Lena. It doesn't undo the years you threw away chasing status. Victor groaned. This isn't fair. You're right, Victor, I said, voice calm but firm. Life isn't fair. And now you're feeling that firsthand. Maybe you'll learn something. Lena looked at him, eyes wide, realizing the cracks she had ignored. He wasn't ready for this. I think I didn't see how shallow I was. You didn't, I said softly, shaking my head. You only saw the surface. You didn't see the person behind it, the man who worked quietly while you chased appearances. Mark stepped forward, leaning slightly toward me. She's learning the hard way. Let her. Don't ruin this with your mercy. I nodded. Yeah. Let her learn. Victor stumbled back, defeated. I can't. This can't be happening. It's happening, I said, voice steady. You built your house of cards, Victor. And Lena, she's watching it fall. Lena turned to me, voice trembling. I don't expect you to forgive me. I wanted you to know. I looked at her, at the tears, at the regret. I don't expect forgiveness either. But I needed to hear your words. That's enough for now. Her shoulders slumped. Victor's shoulders slumped. And I felt lighter than I had in weeks. The fire inside me burned steady, quiet but unstoppable. Mark clapped me on the back. See that? Karma works. Let's let it finish. I nodded, eyes on Lena. She had chased the wrong crown, and now she was learning the cost. Victor's empire was crumbling. And me? I was finally free. For the first time, I felt like I was in control of my life. Not angry. Not desperate. Just ready for whatever came next. And I knew, deep down, Lena and Victor were about to learn the hardest lesson of all. I didn't plan on seeing her again so soon, but life has a way of arranging things you never expect. She walked into my office, hesitant, eyes wide and red-rimmed. Victor trailed behind, trying to keep his composure, but failing miserably. Lena, I said calmly, leaning back in my chair. I didn't expect you here. I had to, she said, voice trembling. I needed to see you. To apologize properly. I studied her, the woman who had left me for status, now broken in ways money couldn't fix. Apologize? I asked softly. You think words can undo 5 years of abandonment? She swallowed hard. I know they can't. I know I can't take back what I did. I needed you to understand that You needed me to understand that you were wrong? I interrupted gently. Yes, Lena. You're wrong. Completely wrong. Tears streamed down her face. I see that now. I see what I lost. And I wanted the man you were back then. But I didn't realize the man you've become. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and sadness. The man I've become? I repeated. You mean the man you ignored for the sake of comfort and appearances? She flinched, nodding. Yes. I thought you'd never rise above. I thought I could choose someone else and still be happy. I was blind. Mark, leaning against the doorway, gave me a small, approving nod. He knew what I already knew. Lena had learned her lesson the hardest way. Victor groaned beside her. This isn't fair. I held up my hand. Victor, this isn't about fair. Life isn't fair. And you're feeling that now. Good. Lena shook her head, tears glistening. I didn't see it. I didn't see you. I was selfish. I wanted status. I wanted everything I thought you couldn't give me. And now I see I had everything already. I exhaled, letting her words sink in. You had everything you never appreciated. And you lost it. She stepped closer, but I didn't move. Please. I just wanted you to know. I regret leaving you. I looked at her, heart heavy but clear. Regret doesn't fix what was broken. It doesn't erase the choices you made. And it doesn't bring back the time you wasted. She flinched, biting her lip. I know. I wanted honesty. I wanted you to hear me say it. Then you have, I said softly. You have my acknowledgement. Nothing more. I won't let this pain consume me, Lena. But I will let it remind me of who I am now. Mark stepped forward. She's learning, buddy. Don't let the past drag you down. You've already won. I nodded, letting a small, quiet smile touch my lips. I've won, not because she's crying, not because Victor's failing. I've won because I'm no longer the man who waits, who doubts himself, who lets someone else define his worth. Lena's shoulders slumped, defeated. I understand. I can't ask for anything else. I wanted you to know that I see it now. And you do, I said. But I won't be the person who fixes your mistakes. That chapter is over. She nodded, wiping her tears. I get it. I needed to be honest, finally. I turned my gaze to the city outside my office window. I felt the fire inside me, steady, quiet, and unstoppable. Lena had wanted a man she thought I was. And now she saw the man I had become. Goodbye, Lena, I said, voice calm but firm. I hope you remember this moment. I hope it teaches you what really matters. She took a step back, tears glimmering in the dim light. I will. Victor muttered something under his breath, but I ignored him. Mark clapped me on the shoulder. You handled that perfectly. No anger, no revenge. Just truth. I nodded, taking a deep breath. Truth speaks louder than revenge ever could. And it never hurts the person who already knows their own worth. As Lena left my office, I felt an unfamiliar peace. The past was gone. The heartbreak, the betrayal, it had shaped me, but it didn't control me. I had become someone who couldn't be abandoned again. Someone who could face the world with quiet power. And for the first time in years, I smiled, not at victory over someone else, but at the man I had finally become. The city skyline stretched before me, glittering lights reflecting in the glass of my office window. I took a slow breath, feeling the weight of the past months settle. Lena had left, Victor was crumbling, and for the first time, it all felt quiet. Mark leaned against the doorway, smirking. "You look peaceful." "Surprising, considering everything." "I am," I said, letting out a small laugh. "Not because of revenge. Not because I've proven anything. I'm free." Mark raised an eyebrow. "Free?" "Yeah," I said. "Free from caring what others think, free from needing validation, free from chasing someone who never saw me. That freedom, it's worth more than anything Lena thought she wanted." He nodded, thoughtful. "You really have changed, man. I mean it. You're not the same guy she walked out on." I smiled faintly. "I'm not. And I won't be. I've realized that my worth isn't defined by who stays or leaves. It's defined by me. By what I do, what I become." Mark grinned. "Sounds like a speech. But, yeah, I get it. You're untouchable now, in your own way." I laughed softly, thinking about Lena, about Victor, about every humiliating moment that had pushed me to this point. Untouchable, maybe. But it's not arrogance. It's just knowing who I am, finally. Knowing that nothing external can shake me. Mark nudged me playfully. "So, what now? Are you going to keep building the empire? Or just enjoy the moment?" I leaned back, thinking. "Both, I guess. There's work to do, lives to manage, properties to oversee. But I'll do it my way. Quietly, efficiently, without needing approval or admiration." Mark smiled. "Sounds like a plan. And Lena?" I shook my head. "She'll be fine, eventually. She needed to learn her lesson, and she did. But it's not my responsibility anymore. That chapter is over." He nodded approvingly. "Good. That's how winners think." I gazed out the window again. The lights of the city reflected in my eyes, like a mirror of possibilities. The mansion, the properties, the firm, it all mattered. But not as much as this, the man I had become. Mark spoke quietly, almost reverently. "You're stronger than you know. Not just rich, not just smart. Strong inside. That's something nobody can take." I nodded slowly, feeling the truth of it. It's funny, isn't it? I lost someone who thought she could define my value, and I gained everything I never knew I needed. Respect for myself. Control over my life. And peace. Mark smiled knowingly. "And the best part? You didn't have to fight her or Victor to prove it. You just became you. That's enough." I exhaled, letting the tension of the last month slip away. Yes. That's enough. And it feels incredible. The office phone buzzed, a reminder of business, of responsibilities, of the life I'd built. I ignored it for a moment, savoring this quiet victory. "You okay, man?" Mark asked, nudging me lightly. I smiled. Better than okay. I'm alive, I'm whole, and I'm moving forward. That's all that matters. Mark clapped me on the back. Then let's get to work. You've got an empire to run, and a life to enjoy. I nodded, feeling energy return, not the restless anxiety of before, but a calm, controlled drive. This was different. I was different. Mark paused. You know, she'll probably hear about all this. About who you really are now. And maybe, just maybe, she'll regret leaving. But it won't matter, right? I shook my head with a small smile. It won't matter. Because I won't be the same man she left behind. I've already moved beyond that. My worth isn't tied to her recognition anymore. It never was. The office was quiet again, the city lights flickering in rhythm with my pulse. I thought of the mansion, of Lena's tears, of Victor's panic, and instead of satisfaction or revenge, I felt something deeper. Contentment. I turned to Mark. You know what? I'm richer than money. I'm richer than status. I'm richer than anyone who ever thought they could define me. Because I've finally defined myself. Mark grinned. And that, my friend, is priceless. I leaned back in my chair, letting a smile creep across my face. For the first time, the past didn't hurt. The betrayals, the heartbreak, the humiliation, they had built me into someone stronger, someone untouchable in the ways that really mattered. And as I stared out at the city, I knew this was only the beginning. I had lost nothing. I had gained everything.